Man, let me tell you all, there's a specific kind of done that makes you quit working graveyard shifts forever. For me, it wasn't some high-stress corporate job. It was a rundown, grease-stained convenience store called Pete's Pit Stop. It sat right on Route 17. Basically, in the middle of nowhere after midnight, the only sign of life you'd usually see was a raccoon fighting a trash can. My whole shift was basically slow motion countdown to sunrise. You're stocking chips, mopping up mystery coffee spills, and listening to that mind-numbing hum from the walk-in coolers. I remember this one night was exceptionally dead. It was just past 2 a.m., and the silence was getting to me. I stepped out back by the dumpsters just to catch a breath of air. It was that thick, bone-chilling kind of quiet, the kind that feels heavy, like the woods were holding their breath. The parking lot lights were buzzing like angry horns, throwing these long, jagged shadows from the gas pumps all the way to the tree line. The road was a ghost town, not a single pair of headlights for miles. I was about to head back inside when I saw it. Just a tiny glitch in the darkness. My eyes adjusted and my heart skipped a beat. A guy was just standing there, leaning against pump number 3. He was wearing one of those oversized, deep maroon hoodies, hood pulled way up, even though the sky was clear. Hands buried deep in his pockets, no car, no bike, nothing. He wasn't looking at the road like he was waiting for a lift. He was angled straight toward the store, straight toward me. A little alarm went off in the back of my head. Not a run for your life alarm yet, just a wait, that ain't right. I gave him a quick, casual nod, the universal. I see you, guy code, and ducked back inside, making sure the door clicked shut. And then I pretended to fix the gun rack, but I was burning holes through the glass watching him. He didn't move. For 5 straight minutes, he was a statue. Then he started this slow, dragging shuffle toward the door. It wasn't a walk. It was like he was drifting. The bell above the door chimed, and in that silence, it sounded like a gunshot. He walked straight to the counter, didn't look at the snacks, didn't glance at the drinks. Up close, he looked younger, but his eyes, man, those eyes were flat, no soul, no lights, just empty. A cold prickle started crawling up my spine. Then he started talking. It was this rushed, monotone script, like he was reading off teleprompter in his head. Hey man, my Civic's dead, right up the road on the entrance ramp. Alternator's shot. You got jumper cables or maybe a gallon of gas? At this point, my brain went straight to DEFCON 1. The story was full of holes. The highway entrance was a solid 2-minute trek through pitch black woods. Who leaves their car there and wanders to a gas station without a gas can? In the livery? It sounded rehearsal, like it had spent an hour practicing it in a mirror. I kept my customer service voice on, but my hand was under the counter. That's a tough break, man. I don't have cables, but I can call Bobby's towing for you. They're 24/7. No, he snapped too fast. He started shaking his head. No tow. I can't afford it. Just maybe a flashlight. Could you come take a look with me? You know, 2 sets of eyes are better than 1, right? That was the kicker. He didn't want to fix. He wanted me out in that dark lot near those woods. Then every instinct I had was screaming at me to stay behind the glass. I played it cool. Yeah, maybe. Would you say it was part again? He pointed a thumb over his shoulder. Just up there, man. Up on the gravel shoulder, right before the merge lane. Can't miss it. I decided to pull a pro move. I said, let me check the side camera clicks to make sure you're not blocking the merge lane. I turned to the grainy monitors behind me. My blood turned to ice. On camera 3, there was a car. An old beat-up gray Corolla, ditched half in the weeds. For a split second, I felt guilty. Is he actually telling the truth? But then I remembered I'd just been outside. The road was silent. There's no way he pulled that car up without me hearing the engine or seeing the lights. And then I saw the motion right by the back bumper of the Corolla. A shape. Someone was crouched low, hiding in the shadows of the car. A second guy. It wasn't a breakdown. It was an ambush. The guy at my counter was the bait. The guy in the weeds was the trap. And I was one helpful walk away from never being seen again. A wave of pure, electric dread shot through me. This wasn't some random weirdo. This was a hit. It was coordinated. I turned back to him, forcing my face into a sympathetic grimace. My heart was hammering against my ribs so hard, so I was sure he could see my shirt vibrating. Yep, I see it, I said. My voice sounded weirdly calm, even to me. Looks rough. Let me just grab my heavy-duty light from the back of my phone. The LED on it is better for seeing under the hood. I moved slowly, deliberately toward the employees-only door. I didn't run. I didn't want to spook him into jumping the counter. The second the door clicked shut behind me, I lunged for the wall. My fingers found the silent panic button tucked under the desk. Then I hit the house alarm. The building erupted. The sound was deafening, bouncing off the tile walls. I grabbed a heavy fire extinguisher off the wall, bracing myself. I expected them to kick the door in. I expected a fight, but nothing happened. After a few seconds of that soul-crushing noise, I cracked the door open an inch. What I saw froze me more than any physical attack could have. The guy wasn't panicking. He wasn't sprinting for the exit. He was just standing there. He was smiling, not a caught red-handed smile, nor a crazy Joker-style grin. It was a slow, calm, almost amused smile, like he just watched me do a really cute card trick. All that nervous, my car is dead, energy was gone. He looked straight at the door where I was hiding, gave a almost imperceptible shake of his head like he was saying, "Nice try, kid," and then he turned. He didn't run, he just strolled out, letting the door swing shut behind him. While the alarm continued to scream, I scrambled back to the monitors. I watched them on the screen, but he didn't head for the highway with the Corolla. He cut straight across the asphalt toward the thick tree line behind the store. From the shadow of the Corolla, the second man stood up, and together they just melted into the blackness of the woods. The stolen car sat there, abandoned, under the flickering streetlights. It took the sheriff 15 minutes to show up. I was a wreck, shaking while I was trying to explain what happened. 2 deputies swept the woods with high-powered spots, but they found nothing. No footprints in the dry dirt, no snap branches, nothing. That's when Deputy Miller called me over to his patrol car. He'd walked up to the Corolla. "Hey," he said, his voice low. "Was the front passenger door open like that when you saw it on the field?" I looked at the monitor, pulling up the frozen frame from the alarm. I hadn't noticed it before. My focus was on the guy at the bumper, but there was clear as day. The passenger door was cracked wide open. "No," I whispered. "It was closed." He just nodded grimly. There was a third one, a driver, sitting in that car the whole time, waiting in the dark? But waiting for what? To floor it once they dragged me into the back seat? Come on, bro, come on. After that, they ran the plates later. The car had been boosted from a mall parking lot 200 miles away. No prints, no DNA, no other crimes in the area that fit the profile. They were ghosts. So here's what keeps me up at night. Months later, it wasn't a robbery. They didn't even glance at the register. They wanted me. They had a plan, a stolen car, a getaway driver, a guy so cold he could smile through a security alarm. They weren't looking for money. They were hunting, and I have no idea why. I have no idea what they wanted or what would have happened if I'd walked out into that lot to help. That's the real horror. Not the jump scare, but the unanswered questions, the smile, the open car door, the fact that somewhere out there, 3 men know exactly what they were gonna do to me that night, and I never will. Needless to say, I turned in my keys the next morning. Some doors, once you what's lurking behind them, you just can't ever close.